remember last couple of weeks we've been hearing about Jesus and his preaching and how at first we went back to Jerusalem, to his home area of Nazareth, and going into the tabernacle, he talked on Isaiah, and the people just all applauded like. And then the next week we began with the same segment, but then how quickly the people turned on him when he started telling them some truths about themselves. And they wanted to kill him with that. So he goes down to Capernaum, to the top of Lake Gennesaret, to spend the rest of his ministry. It made me think of myself when Cardinal Law asked me if I would like to take Leninville, my home parish. No, thank you. Yeah, because they remember what you did when you were 4 years old, what you did when you were 8 years old, and they never forget those stories, you know? So they can always use that as grounds for not having to pay attention or listen to you. So we remember, and that's what Jesus faced. And so he went to the lake, and so did I. And I thought, wow, that's great. I get to spend my life here at Clearwater Lake. So today we see the call to preach, the call to minister, and the ongoing development of the gospel as it reaches out to others. That's why at this early stage of the ordinary time of the year, we're seeing how we are a part of that development, of that spread of the gospel. Because the very fundamental call that you and I have as Christians, having been baptized, priest, prophet, and king, is to know that we are called to share the good news, to share it with others. And so we see it develop particularly today now with Peter. And Luke, the way he writes the story, by the way, this is well after the resurrection, the same story that John tells in his gospel when he says they gathered 153 fish, which represented the languages of the world. But here, Luke tells the story so that we know, again, as with John's gospel, who is given the charge of the church. That's why we talk about the church as being the bark of Peter, the boat of Peter, if you will. So they are called to go into the boat where Jesus' word goes out to others. And that word goes out and has an effect. You know, they've already seen some miracles and now they come to believe in him. But then he leaves them. You know, it's kind of nice being in a boat. You can quickly get away from the crowd if you want. Did you notice one thing? How does Luke start that gospel? They had just been fishing all night, and they were what? They were on the shore. It says washing their nets. That means they've already been up on the shore. They're up on these racks. They have some wooden racks where they have to dry. If you don't, they'll rot on you. And so they dry them out every day after you go fishing, and you want to get all that gunk off them, because whether you had a good catch or not, you still get all kinds of stuff out of the sea on the nets. So they have to clean them. Now Jesus gets in the boat and takes them out into deep water. So you say, okay, Peter, lower the nets. You know, and can't you see Peter standing there saying, hey, Lord, you know, look up there. You're on the shore. So he starts out with that, and it tells us something. It tells us something in Luke's mind. Not only does Jesus give the call, but he provides what is needed in fulfilling that call. Provides what is needed. So somehow the nets are miraculously there, if you will. Not only then do we see that, but we see the development says there are so many, one person can't do it. He calls his partners out. And it doesn't stop there. We got Peter, James, and John showing over and over and over in the Bible as being the three primary apostles. But who else? You and I. That's why he talks about others, because the boats are rather large, and as such there are a number of men involved in pulling in that net, casting the net. So it's a reminder to the early church and to you and I that we are indeed a part of it. Now, as we recognize that, we're called to see one thing appearing in both first reading and the gospel, and that is what? Well, you know, I can't do that, Lord. I'm a sinner, Lord. I didn't take speech. I didn't do. We go on with all kinds of excuses. If you notice, the prophet and Peter said, Lord, I am a sinner. Yeah. Well, that's a good start. And guess what? He takes care of that. You notice how we start the Mass? At the very beginning? Yeah, through my fault, yes, I am a sinner. I am a sinner. We recognize that. Christians are not perfect people. They're sinners. And recognizing that we're sinners, that we also depend on God to provide the net, because we don't have that skill, those gifts on our own. We depend on God. We continue, and then he says, you want me to take care of it? The Old Testament, what does he do? He uses coal. Coal represents what? Fire is always representative of God in the scriptures. So God himself touches his lips so that he can proclaim as a prophet. What do we find with Peter? What do we find with Christians? We come to Mass, and right before the Eucharist receiving, we again say, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof, but only say the word. Only say the word. So you and I receive the body of Christ. Again, the very presence of God touching our lips to say, yes, you are forgiven. You are forgiven. And now, don't be afraid, Jesus says. Don't be afraid to reach out with that good news. Now, why do we say that again today? Because it is so important for all of us. And we so often fail. We think it's somebody else's job, if you will. When we think of it as a job, we've missed the most important thing. It's not a job. It's not about introducing somebody into this or that club. It's a recognition that we have a relationship with the living God, with Christ Jesus himself. And having that relationship, we aren't selfish. We think Jesus has room for others, don't we? When we go to heaven someday, Jesus is going to say, who can you bring with you? I didn't know I was supposed to, you had an invitation to come. Do you think I didn't have room for more people? So you didn't want to share? No. You and I are called to, because of the love of God, because of the love of Christ, to invite others. Different circumstances, different ways, different opportunities that he gives all of us. But he says, don't be afraid to go into the deep. What's the worst that can happen? Get killed. And guess what happens if you get killed during the gospel? You got to go to heaven. Well, it can be better than that. An instant trip. Even though we will pray for the martyrs today, it's a wonderful thing to have that opportunity. I say, well, that's Father's job. Guess who Father gets to deal with every day? You all. There's not many converts out there. That's like people that hand me, raffle tickets. You go to any kind of church function, say, here, Father, you saw these. Okay, right? Who am I going to sell to? Other people who have raffle tickets. No. You are the ones who are in the world. You are the ones who God puts in different circumstances. Some have boats, some have cars, some drive, some are cashiers, some wait on tables. But we all have opportunities that bring us into contact with somebody who does not know Christ. Now, I know we look at our country and we say, oh, golly, everybody's Christian. Wrong. We don't have to watch much news lately to tell that everybody is not Christian. We think, well, everybody around here is. Wrong. Less than 50% of the area go to church of any kind. Count the number of churches divided by the number of population in this county, and guess what you'll find? A whole lot of people who do not belong to any church. They might identify as Christian, so they need some place to go. They need to know that Christians are people who gather to proclaim, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God. That we come together as God's family to worship. So as we continue this journey now, listen to the words of Christ when he says to you, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. I provide the net along with the